Hi Coolers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we will be discussing some memorable decisions, tactics and changes that Xavi has made to this Barcelona team that really put us on a path to only become better, right? And I just feel like I owe this to Xavi because it was really under his management where my channel really came to life. And I just feel like I owe it to him, like I said, right guys? As always, do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get this family to grow even bigger. We upload weekly Barcelona content. Let's dive right into the video. If I just think about this season alone, the biggest decision he made was moving Andreas Christensen to the pivot position. And this is really where Joan Laporta and the Barca board failed Xavi, because imagine if Christensen didn't kind of solve this problem, the pivot position for Barcelona. Where would we have been? I don't even think we would have ended second, right? So under circumstances, Xavi has done really well. We even at one point saw that he tried somebody like Xavi at the pivot position, right? So moving this guy, Gundogan played there, Pedri played there. So in my opinion, this was the biggest decision this season alone, to move Christensen there. And we of course know Xavi got injured, right? So we failed Xavi, to be honest, right? Because they didn't replace Sergio Busquets, and we realized how important Sergio Busquets has been all these years, right? But this really connected, and we saw a double pivot, you know, as well. Somebody like Gundogan played here with Andreas Christensen. He even had Pedri also playing with Christensen to have Gundogan a little bit higher. So this was one of the biggest decisions I think Xavi has made, and I kind of feel like Xavi really, in my opinion, I think he made this decision too late, because a lot of you guys I saw on social media said that he should try Christensen over there because of his ball progression, right? So I kind of feel like Xavi really made this decision a little bit too late. But after all, it was a great decision and it helped us a lot, and it saved our season pretty much, right? It saved our season. We played with a centre-back at pivot position. Do you guys realize how crazy that is? Do you realize how crazy that is? Before we continue, however, I want you guys to tell me, what do you think was Xavi's most important decision he has made, or his most memorable tactic as Barcelona coach? And then I think one of the most memorable things he has done was assembling this backline of Koundé, Araujo, Christensen and Alejandro Balde, right? I would like to call this a title-winning backline, because you guys remember last season, the season before last season, how important this backline was to Barcelona's winning the title. And I think that's all down to Xavi, right? Because he made these moves and he made these changes, right? He could have easily played Roberto as right back, but he didn't. He assembled this, right? Who can forget the games where he put Araujo on the likes of Vinny Jr. and those kind of players, right? And none of us really thought about that. It was Xavi that brought that into play. Xavi was the first manager where I saw he wanted Araujo to play at right back because of the threat of somebody like Vinicius Jr., right? So let us give the props here to Xavi for playing Koundé and Christensen, you know, at right centre back and left centre back, right? So that's all down to the manager. And I think maybe this was the problem this season, that Balde wasn't available, right? Because now you saw that Joao Cancelo had to play on this wing right here, and we know a lot of our goals that we conceded came from Cancelo, especially the important ones, right? So I think if Balde was fit, we kind of would have seen a different story. That's why I'm so excited to see him next season back, although I think he needs to work on his positioning. But I think this right here was the best decision Xavi has made, hands down, when he assembled this back line of Balde, Christensen, Koundé and Araujo. So props to Xavi for making this title-winning defense and putting it together. Just a quick reminder that if you are new around here and you are a Barcelona fan, you might want to subscribe to the channel. We upload weekly tactical content only on Barcelona at least 3 times a week. I also think one of the biggest, or how can I say, most game-changing tactic that Xavi has done was picking the midfielder at left wing to invert and to complete this box. We know at Manchester City you see the centre-back come forward to complete the box. At Arsenal you might see a fullback come in, but Xavi has really changed the game with this, right? Picking a midfielder. So now you have this box midfield of midfielders, instead of having a centre-back playing there, instead of having a fullback playing there. So now you saw Balde going forward, and then you saw a back three. Now, I know this didn't work against all the teams that we faced, but it served us really well. Who can forget that memorable performance of Xavi in this position against Real Madrid in the Supercopa de España, final, right? So this is also one of the tactics that Xavi can really say, I made this tactic, or I was the first to do this. Because have you ever seen other players or other managers or other midfielders playing there for this purpose, right? So Xavi really, this is a Xavi tactic to complete the box midfield. I know a lot of teams does the box midfield, but this was Xavi's way to do the box midfield. Especially what struck me about this tactic was that overload to isolate. You know, when everybody goes in here, right? And when everybody goes in there, then you see the opposition have to sift, right? How many balls did Xavi receive in this area right over here? And then you see Balde storming down here. And this is maybe the reason why we didn't see this tactic this season at Barcelona, because Xavi was injured and Balde was injured as well. Because they were the two players that was really important in this instance to complete this tactic. So Xavi has really been a big miss. He affected even our pressing wasn't good, because he was usually the guy that when teams would dribble forward, then he would get the ball. So imagine being this young and being so important to this Barcelona team. So Xavi will be, like I saw some of you guys said, Xavi this season will be like a new signing. The way he get around the pitch, and he's just a breath of fresh air, and he's the kind of player that every Barcelona player should strive to be. So yeah, midfielder at wing, invert into the box. That was also a very memorable tactic from Xavi Hernandez. But this next tactic that I wanted to leave for last is actually the best work I've seen Xavi done this season in particular, and it actually involves Kylian Mbappe and PSG. This next tactic I want to discuss with you guys was a sensational tactic, and this is coming from an inexperienced manager like Xavi, right? And I honestly believe this is why Dortmund went to the final, because they did the same thing that Xavi did, where they rendered Kylian Mbappe basically useless, right? And you of course know that Rafinha would invert, then you have this box, and then you saw Cancelo going forward, and Barcelona played an early back three, because Xavi knew that Mbappe was going to press centrally. And then you saw countless times how Ter Stegen would find Koundé in this area right here, and this would render Kylian Mbappe basically useless, because there's nothing that he can do centrally really, because he wants to be out on the flanks, you know. So Luis Enrique basically made a change that he brought in Mbappe, and then Dembele went over that side. This was, for me, in my opinion, it was sensational, right? And it really affected the right wing here of PSG. So this was just sensational, and Koundé kept on getting the ball over there, where he would draw Dembele out of position and then would find Gundogan. So this was absolutely sensational from Xavi Hernandez. This was the best tactic this season for me. But what do you think was memorable on Xavi's time, or in Xavi's time as Barcelona manager? Tactics, decisions, changes that he made, right? Because it was not all doom and gloom, right? But yeah, let me know down in the comment section. I just felt like it was important for me to do this video, because like I said, it was under Xavi's management that my channel really exploded, right? So so yeah, as we close this chapter, as always, do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get this family to grow. Until we see you in the next one.